to all Hitches, Nova's #1 football podcast. Coach Mesa, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. We're back at work. I'm a little tired though. I'm not gonna lie. Being back at work, this is a lot easier when it's summertime when we can film and then I can go to sleep and get up at 8 o'clock the next morning.
Everything is easier in the summertime, isn't it?
It is.
And it's still summer for like another month and a half. That's the sad part.
Is it really?
Doesn't summer end September 20 something?
I don't know. I'm not a meteorologist. You have to ask.
You know why you don't know this? I'll tell you why you really don't know this. Because it's summer every day in Southern California.
It is summer every day in Southern California.
And like Tony once said, it never rains in Southern California.
Do you know they play that song every time it rains in California? If you go on the radio station, someone is playing that.
I'm a Tony guy. I love Tony. Always have. Always will. Big fan.
It's a great group.
All right. So a couple orders of business here before we get to this week's scrimmages. We got to talk about Brian McClure. How about that Brian McClure guy?
Dude, he is our #1 fan. He made it to the end of the podcast.
Brian McClure, great man. Coach McClure. Let's call him
Yes.
Coach McClure. I think. It's a great coach, great man. He big fan of fantasy, want to play fantasy with us, and Tua, left-handed quarterback. Well, I don't know what we were thinking.
How did I forget Tua? He's my people. He's freaking from the islands. I feel awful.
No, you could have gotten Tua. And then I started thinking. I didn't look this up. I started thinking. It almost like it triggered like Penix as a lefty. I didn't look up any other ones. I should have looked them up while I was at it. But Penix came to mind right away.
Yeah,
because Penix throws like Phillip Rivers.
Is he going to start Atlanta?
No, Cousins.
Cousins going to start in Atlanta. Oh, that's right.
But they're happy with Penix. They said they're not playing him in the preseason because they thought he looked good in the first preseason game, which makes no sense. But I mean, he figured a guy like that needs all the reps. But
yeah.
So McClure, and then also another person who chimed in with Tua was the great Carl Frederick, the Nova's Adam Schefter. He chimed in as well.
And I think we're gonna have him on the next pod, probably when we start talking regular season games. Maybe
buddy.
No, actually, I think he might be going to a few scrimmages. So I think we'll try to have him on again.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it for sure. Get him on here and talk about some scrimmages and some games. Before we go on, subscribe. Gotta say it. Gotta subscribe. Gotta like. Gotta follow. All that stuff, guys. All that stuff. Again, we love it. We got all the, the listens and all the, we got a lot of, we passed the century mark.
We did pass the century mark.
Over 100 subscribers on YouTube. I think we're up to like 106 now. And all that in like 3 weeks, which is friggin' amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. I'm happy with all the support.
Yeah, it's been great.
No, it's awesome.
So just keep them coming, but, keep sharing with people, with family, with other coaches, all that stuff. Because we know there's more than 100 fans of Nova high school football. There's definitely more than 100 fans. So let's get fans.
One of our videos is getting close to the 1,000 mark. I think it's
1,000 views. Right.
Close to 1,000 views. So, get everybody on here subscribing to us for your free content. Free. No paywall. We are of the people. We are
of the people, for the people, by the people. That's us. Weather. How about the weather? Before we get into it, I think I started for the first time. It's a hot summer. I'm now starting to think of fall. I'm starting to think of apples.
Yeah.
And pumpkin. I'm a big pumpkin coffee guy. Well, I like
pumpkin spice latte. Are you
pumpkin spice all the way, baby?
Yeah, I mean, it felt like today on the day we're filming. It felt like fall. On my little thermometer I have on my deck outside.
Yeah,
it's 61.
Yeah,
I like outside. I want to throw on a hoodie.
Yeah, no. Today was nice. A little chilly. It's gonna get down to like 50 degrees tonight, 55 degrees.
Yeah,
which is awesome. I saw that debate recently. It got me thinking: is it too early for the pumpkin spice lovers out there? And I'm one of them. And I say it's never too early for pumpkin spice.
Well, I mean, the holidays keep on pushing further and further, right? I mean, in about what are we near the end of August? Probably in about another 3 weeks, we're gonna have Christmas decorations for sale up at Walmart, aren't we?
We sure are, buddy. And it never too early for a little Bing Crosby too, a little Danny Kaye and Bing Crosby.
It is not. But you know what? You know I love this time of year because it signifies football, right? Yeah. It signifies football. I've been watching some preseason football. I don't watch it intently. I am not the huge football fan that I once was, where I study everybody. But it's nice to have it on the background, right? If you know, I'm grading papers or I'm lesson planning, having football on the background is it's like a comfort food almost, right?
Oh yeah, and actually, my wife has been kind enough to allow me to have Sundays, so I haven't missed a Raider game in God knows how long. I still watch the Raiders despite all of our problems. So opening day has been a tradition. Opening game, I get Popeyes, nice, probably like a 24-pack of Popeyes chicken. Eat about 20. Yeah, man, I freaking just dominate that, and I. Thinking I might switch it up. I might go Jersey Mike's this year. I like Jersey Mike's.
Jersey Mike's. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, because the autumn wind.
You got a sub at Jersey Mike's. You got a 15-inch sub at Jersey Mike's. Yeah. You can keep going back to that for a little while.
Because the autumn wind. You know what it is, right?
It's a hungry Raider fan. That's right.
Yeah, I like to barbecue when I'm watching football.
Yeah. But you like the smoker and all that brisket stuff. I can't do all that.
No, I mean, I use it to smoke. I have yet to make a brisket thing, honestly. Like I use it. I use it mainly to like I put steaks on it, let it smoke for a little while, get that smoke infused in it, and then crank it up, and nothing like good that or.
Well, I like a good brisket. Ribs key. Ribs are key too. A little sausage, a little smoked sausage.
Sometimes, yeah.
That's good stuff. I love a good smoked sausage. All right, so. Great week of scrimmages last week. We talked about it and went over it, and now it's funny because it's like we were talking about a couple teams today. You and I were off camera, and there's two ways of going with this. You could have looked good in your first scrimmage, and I know a couple of teams out there that are going to take it easy. They're going to play a lot of JV guys.
Yeah,
I talked to a couple of coaches. They're going to play a couple of JV guys and just chill out. Varsity guys are going to get just a little bit of reps, and then you go the other way. There's a few teams out there that are playing tough week one games,
right?
Struggled in their first scrimmage. So I think, for morale purposes, I think it's an important scrimmage. So it's an important scrimmage to kind of feel good, playing a little better in that second one.
Right. Because you really don't know who you are until you face another team. They faced another team. There's some teams that didn't do as well as they thought they were going to do. And now, they want to kind of rally the troops and get them going in the right direction, because when you play a really difficult opponent, and I think we're going to talk about a few of these teams are going to play some really difficult opponents early on, to get their mindset going, because especially as some programs that are trying to turn themselves around, and you don't want to have back to back, three bad performances in a row. So I think that that there's some coaches out there that maybe taking this last scrimmage with a little more zest, if you will.
Yeah, no, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Well, let's get into it. Let's get into it right now. So week 2 scrimmages, second and final scrimmage of the 24 preseason.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna start off with your favorite one of the week, my friend. You like a little Lake Braddock versus Garfield, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Well, one, I mean, I talked about the pod before, is how impressed I was with Garfield. I thought they looked really good last week. And I will be at the Braddock Garfield scrimmage. So if you're there, you can say hello. If you want to take a picture with me, I totally understand. But there is a charge for it. It's not for free. I'm just kidding. But no, I'm excited. I'm excited to see them. I'm excited to see what James Blacker looks like against a Bragg team. He's one of the guys that Garfield is really high on. I want to see what Troy Hammond looks like against that Bragg defense. Now we saw last week with Chantilly. We saw their quarterback look really good.
Yeah.
I thought Troy Hammond looked pretty good in their last scrimmage. I'm curious what he does against their defense as well. I'm curious to see how Trey Warden and Blacker, who also play DB, how they're going to do against those that Braddock offense, who is just so explosive.
Yep.
So explosive.
Go ahead. Well, no, I was going to say, 100%. One of the things that you watched the Garfield last week, I didn't, and you were impressed with their team's speed and athleticism, and it seemed like from the reports of the Braddock, especially early on in the scrimmage, the Chantilly receivers got behind him a little bit.
Yeah.
Got behind the secondary, was able to hit a couple big plays. How are they going to handle, some of the explosiveness on Garfield? I'm curious to see that.
And our first ever, play of the week winner, Kai Austin. Well, what's he going to look like against a team that a defense that has some speed, right?
Yeah.
How is Ty Jackson going to look against a defensive front that I was really impressed with?
Mm-hmm.
I think they get after the quarterback a little bit. I think they're going to be able to really kind of challenge them up front. We'll see what they look like. But I'll be interested to see it, and I'll be there live and in color. I'll be on the field and be able to see it for myself.
And people can come up to you and shake your hand and get an autograph, you said. So that's good.
Yeah. I mean, they can, or they can boo me. I don't know. I mean, who knows?
You're like Apollo Creed. Apollo Creed saying hi to Balboa and saying hi to Clubber Lang before the game.
Yeah. So I'm sure as much as we do have fans, I'm sure there are people who think that we're idiots, and they may let us know that we are idiots. But no, I'm excited. I'm excited to go down there, down to Garfield, right there off of Smoketown, right off of Smoketown, right there. Maybe beforehand I'll go to the Potomac Mills Mall and do some outlet shopping.
Yeah, there you go. Look at that. You're a man of the people.
Do you know Potomac Mills is the largest outdoor mall?
I do.
Outlet mall in the state of Virginia.
I do. My parents had a store there when Potomac Mills first opened. That my parents had an outlet store in the mall. They had a bunch of stores in the DC area, but then they opened up an outlet store.
No kidding. No, I'm excited. I'm excited to see it.
All right, so another game we both like, and I'm a big fan of these. I mean, good football is one thing, and we're going to get that here. We're also going to get some storylines. I like a good storyline, and I like the return of Vossler to Robinson. I like that. I like Westfield going to Robinson. A lot of storylines there.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I mean, you got Coach Vossler coming back. You got Coach Blair, against Westfield. That's where he coached for, quite a few years. And then you got kind of the battle of maybe similar offenses. Because we're still figuring that out. We don't really know 100%, but there is definitely some shared characteristics in the offenses, at least.
Yeah. I mean, and both kind of, if you like the run game, right, this is the game you want to go to, but what is Jackson Scaparetto? How's he going to do this week, right? I mean, look, I know he's somebody that they're really looking to see how he operates against a Westfield team that traditionally year in and year out they're pretty good, right? And then with Westfield, Kennedy Duda. I mean, he's a guy they're really going to rely on at running back. Obviously when they're going to be in, run the football. How is he going to look this week?
Yeah, well, he's a stud, and they're high on him.
Yeah.
All right, so there's some good ones. A little top heavy, I think.
Yeah.
This week, but there's some good ones up top. W.N.L at Chantilly. Now, obviously, we know about W.N.L's historic season last year, and they're on the kind of the road to prove it. They can do it consistently, and Chantilly. I mean, we know what they did. I mean, they looked solid. You watched that game, and they looked solid early on against a really good Braddock team. So, what do you think about this one?
Well, I mean, it's here in Mantry, right? Let's see how he does second week in a row. I mean, I think that's going to be really interesting. Andrew Fletcher, they didn't feature him a ton, and I think in the last scrimmage, I didn't see him get a ton of carries, but I'm curious how he's going to do as well, right? Is that Chantilly offense going to look, second week in a row? Now people have film on them, right? People might have film. They're going to be able to prepare for him. Coming to this first scrimmage, you don't know how that's going to work, right?
That's a good point. Glad you brought that up, because with last week, I think people were surprised at how much they passed the ball early on in that scrimmage. I think Braddock was expecting a little more of a run-heavy team. I think with last year's Chantilly, they expected more of a run-heavy offense. Got people off guard a little bit, kind of by surprise. What will they do this week? I think that's a good point.
Yeah, and I don't think either one of us got to see W.N.L.
No.
Yeah. So,
I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, very senior heavy again, right? I mean, they had a bunch of juniors playing JV. They're very senior heavy again.
Yeah.
Should be a really good matchup. I think it should be a really good matchup.
Well, speaking of good matchups, and you got to give credit to Madison. Kind of reminds me of Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya, a lot of people didn't like De La Hoya, but De La Hoya didn't shy away from him. He fought Trinidad. He fought Vargas. You know, I mean, he fought Chavez. I mean, Oscar De La Hoya in modern boxing, you know, didn't dodge anybody. He fought Sugar Shane Mosley. You can go on and on.
On the backside of his career, right? Fought Manny Pacquiao, and Manny Pacquiao
he fought Bernard Hopkins. He went up in weight at the end of his career. I don't know what he was thinking. He got killed in that fight. And in the fight again, Pacquiao at the end of his career. Yeah. And Pacquiao was in his prime. Right. And a lot of people don't like Oscar De La Hoya. I get it. But he never backed down. Well, like Madison De La Hoya, that I'm going to say right now, because Madison, who they scrimmaged in the first one?
Oh, they had Battlefield.
They all right. Second scrimmage. Who else is supposed to be good out there in that conference? Patriot. Okay, bring them on too. We'll take them on too. So, you know, going to Patriot, playing Patriot, you got to respect it. Madison's preparing for the playoffs.
Well, I mean, with there you have Dominic Nicely, right? Dominic Nicely. He signed with, who was it? He signed with. I can't remember.
Was it Coastal?
Might have been Coastal. Yeah.
We'll look it up on the Google machine. We'll be sure we have.
But I mean, seeing Dominic Nicely, and it's interesting that Madison is coming out to Prince William to kind of get their scrimmage in, but they're taking on the big dogs, right? They're taking on they're taking on the big dogs, and you know, I heard really good things, you know, and now Tyler Newton is going to be playing against, you know, for Patriot, playing against Madison. He has to play against that Madison defense.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, Nicely Coastal commit. I just had to look it up while we were talking. Okay. Yeah.
And then Jackson McCarter, right? Those two guys on offense playing against a really solid. I mean, Madison's solid year in year out.
Jackson McCarter stud.
But going against them,
Knutson is a stud. I mean, those guys are. I mean, that's just loaded with talent.
Yeah. So I mean, it should be a pretty good. I mean, you're having some big stars, right? You want to see some stars playing. Go to the scrimmage here. Go to the scrimmage.
Right.
Here.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. 2 heavyweights.
Yeah.
Only thing wrong with my De La Hoya comp was that they weren't heavyweights; they're middleweights.
But yeah, I mean, look at Madison. Madison's not scrimmaging the Sisters of the Poor. You know, are iron is sharper than iron, aren't they?
That's right. That's right. I love that cliche. One of my favorites. Langley at Fairfax. I like Langley Fairfax. Langley playing inspired football. You know, come out, you know, with the big tight end. You know, the solid running game, the quarterback, and then Fairfax. Fairfax is the one. That game was not aired on NFHS. I couldn't watch it last week. This one is being aired. I look forward to seeing it. I think that's a very interesting game. Langley surprised people the last several years, and obviously Fairfax, the post Rojas Fairfax team is almost as good as the Rojas teams. I mean, I'm excited to watch Fairfax go at it.
Well, you have Robert Ronkovitz. I'm correcting that correctly.
Yeah,
the running back,
the Langley running back.
Yeah, he's the real deal. He's the real deal. You know, and again, I think you're going to see a lot of, you know, ground and pound. You're going to see a lot of ground and pound between the two. But I know that you know, Fairfax, you know, Mike Murad, Fairfax likes him a lot at quarterback. Looks like he's going to be pretty good. But they have that running back, correct? They have that running back that came in.
Yeah.
Ethan Lynch.
Ethan Lynch. Yeah. They love Lynch. They love Lynch.
So I mean, again, another game with a lot of guys that look like they're going to be difference makers here in the regular season. Should be exciting.
Don't sleep on the big tight end, big Gronkowski in the back of the end zone. Good old Thomas Gill for Langley.
Yeah.
All right. We got another full of storylines. You know, I'm a storyline guy.
Yeah.
And this one's full of storylines. We got Woodson, my alma mater. Woodson at Hilton. Now this is the battle of you got Coach Van Acker.
Van Acker Bowl, right? It's the Van Acker Bowl.
Van Acker Henderson Bowl.
Van Acker Henderson Bowl, yep.
I mean, this is a fun one. You know, 2 friends of ours, 2 guys we worked with, you know, 2 guys we like, 2 guys we admire. This is a good one. This is going to be a good one. And the thing is, we also know coaches on both staffs.
We do.
So it's not just the head coaches.
Yeah.
We also know some of the guys on the staffs, and they're both good staffs. It's going to be a fun one. Now, it was supposed to be at Woodson originally, and then there's some track stuff. they have to move it out to Hilton. So Hilton's going to host it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fun because what kind of offense is Hilton going to run? Right. You and I have been talking about this because VA's multiple.
Yeah.
Right. And really the same question goes to Woodson, really. What do you think? What are your thoughts on this game?
Well, I mean, one, I'm excited to go see Logan Marshall. Logan Marshall looks like the real deal. It's gonna be exciting to see. It's gonna be exciting to see him play. You and I, are you gonna be there? Are you gonna make the trip to CD Hilton against Woodson High School? Are you making the trip? Because I will be there also. That's right. I'm gonna be in 2 places this week.
Yeah, man. So here's the deal. I'm gonna be totally honest. I really want to go to that game. So today, around 5 o'clock or so, went on my phone, went on the the maps or whatever, Apple Maps or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And I typed in Hilton's address. And at 5 o'clock, it was about an hour. It was an hour and change to get there. And I started hyperventilating. I got a brown bag at that point. Started, I was breathing in the brown bag. I was about to vomit. I got scared. That's a drive, man. Because I started thinking it's an hour there, an hour back. It's 2 hours of my life.
No, it'll be less. It'll be less back because there's less traffic from the other way.
Will it be okay?
Yeah.
And then Coach Van Acker, I have Coach Van Acker's. He lent me a podium years ago, like his own personal podium, and he wants me to give it back to him. And Coach, if you're listening, I don't think I want to drive the podium to you.
Why do you have a
heavy podium? I needed it for something years ago. It was during COVID, actually. I needed it, and he let me borrow it. It's a long story of why. You know what? It was a mock graduation. Okay, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, buddy. All right. The important part here is that right now I don't feel it's a heavy podium. I don't know if he made this thing out of oak or what, but it's a heavy oak podium, and I don't know if I want to put it in my car and lug it out there to him. So because of that, Coach, I want you to know I might not make it out there. So we'll see.
You're a weenie.
It's a heavy podium.
You don't have to bring the podium. Oh,
that's true. I don't. Wait on my car.
Yeah, Logan Marshall should be pretty interesting. Now, Brian Arrieta, I'm curious what he's going to do against them.
Big nose tackle, baby.
Big nose tackle. I'm pretty excited to see how he does. Gabe Castro. Let's see if Gabe Castro can get it going. Senior year, he has flashes of being pretty dynamic. I'm pretty excited. I could go on forever because we know all those kids that.
Jeremiah Randall, Trey Harper, Sandino, the big tight end, Goldtree, Nicky Smith, Jack Marin had a good day against Lightridge. It'll be interesting and fun to see what these guys do. And then on the flip side, I know there's a quarterback battle over at Hilton. Trying to figure that out still. You got a Division I commit at running back,
the Logan Marshall, and then Xavier Baker, who Coach Van Acker said is the fastest player he's ever had. And Coach Van Acker's coached a lot of people, a lot of places. I mean, that is high praise, my friend.
It's very high praise. Xavier Baker, the touchdown maker. I can't wait to watch him play.
Yeah.
All right, so that'll be a fun one. All right. We got, I know it's outside of, at least half of this is outside of our Nova viewing audience, but the other half is not. So we're going to talk about Dunbar and Hayfield. Now, Dunbar, solid program.
Yeah.
Right? That game was on NFHS, and it wasn't on NFHS, their last game. So we didn't get to see Hayfield in all their glory.
Right.
Hopefully we do this week. I'm excited. Yeah. I'd like to see them play. What are your thoughts?
So I got to watch the first quarter or the first drive of the Hayfield game, but I think similar to Madison, Hayfield is not taking a bunch of slaps for scrimmages, right? And they're reaching out to a specific area of Virginia to take that on, much like Madison's reach out to a very specific area of Virginia.
Good point.
Kind of get their scrimmages, right?
Good point.
And it looks like Coach Overton's going to play his guys. He is not having them on the sideline with earphones in and baseball caps. He's got those guys playing.
They're playing. That's for sure. They had some highlights the other day. Some of those guys need to send us the highlights because I caught a couple of them a few days after you did the your award, and there was a couple good Hayfield highlights from that first game.
Yeah. So I mean, another must see TV, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Next one, interesting one here. You got Liberty versus National. Everyone loves a good Liberty versus National battle. Yeah. Marshall at Edison. What do you think about that?
So I know Edison looks like they're going to need to, they struggle a little bit in what I saw against Garfield. So I think they're one of those teams to talk about, right? Might need to rebound. So I think it should be interesting what they look like, how they're going to look after playing Garfield, and then I didn't get a chance to see Marshall, so I'm curious how they're going to do as well.
Yeah, I want to see if that Marshall running game can kind of get going against Edison and see the some of the explosiveness that I keep hearing about Edison. See if they can do that against a tough Marshall team.
Well, and I'm curious what Clifton Dorsey's going to look like. He's one of the returning. He was returning second team all region, first team all district. Yeah, coming back for Edison. So I'm curious what he's going to look like as well. Going against a squad that they could potentially see in some round of the playoffs as well, right?
Right. That's true. Yeah. Well, actually, they wouldn't, right?
Oh, that's right. Wrong region, different region.
But it'd be kind of cool if they did. Champ. Centerville, John Champ. You were now again. I know we're covering 6A. We didn't get into John Champ. You walked away very impressed with John Champ. You thought they could compete with 6A, and then Centerville, who you liked Young Shields, and you liked some of the things you saw out of that team.
Yeah, no, I thought they looked really sharp. It should be a pretty interesting scrimmage as well. Because I thought Centerville played really well in their scrimmage last week. I thought Champ played really well in their scrimmage last week. And it looks like John Champ is one of the best teams of the state. If you look at just state ranking wise, the metrics, right? If you look at your Cal Preps or even Max Preps, kind of where they're ranked them at. I think the same thing with Max.
Are they ranked that high?
Yeah, they're ranked pretty high.
Wow. I didn't know they were ranked that high. Oh.
If you look at it, so I think it's a good challenge for them.
That's impressive, yeah.
Different kind of school though, right? So last week they were with Robinson. And Robinson is very, very much a ground and pound Westfield kind of.
You talk about Centerville.
Yeah. So they played with scrimmage that Robinson scrimmage last week with them playing. I didn't get to see the McLean part, but now with John Champ is a up tempo, high speed kind of offense. Should be. And I credit Coach Shields, right, taking on two different kinds of programs to kind of get ready for the season.
That's true. All right, moving on. Annandale at Herndon. Interesting one because one who's scheduled. We've talked about this. Annandale and Herndon a few years ago would have been an apples to apples matchup, right? And Herndon has really, really turned that whole thing around over there. Annandale's hoping to kind of get that same kind of momentum going. They're not quite there yet, and so it's not quite the apples to apples matchup. Kind of a fun one for Annandale, I guess. Kind of see what where if they can hang with Herndon. Or Herndon, I mean, on the surface, it looks like they have a tough opening stretch, and I don't know if Annandale in this game is really kind of going to prepare them for what they got to see.
But this gives them a chance to kind of see if they're ready for prime time, right? This for Annandale, kind
for Annandale, 100%.
Yeah, and I'm sure Hayfield, not Hayfield. I'm sorry, Herndon.
You knew it started with an H, though.
I knew it started with an H. It's late. I'm getting tired. Let's see how they kind of react. And sometimes you want to see how your kids are going to going against somebody that they feel like they might be better than, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So you go into that game, and these scrimmages you always have something to work on, right? I mean, you probably have a certain set of things you want to work on, and they'll probably come in that game again. And that coaching staff, though, I don't think takes anybody lightly. I'm sure that coaching staff prepares for absolutely everybody. And much like we talked about how Lake Braddock went over there to kind of get some work over with Herndon, to go over there. I'm sure Herndon did not take a game where they thought themselves that they'd be able to beat up on somebody. So I mean, it looks to me like they have some respect for Annandale.
Okay, good. And so I'm wrong. You're right. I like that. All right. Falls Church at Meridian. So I do like this. Actually, it's kind of the battle of two Falls Church teams. So it's kind of a little rivalry there. I don't know much about their rivalry, or if it even is one officially. It should be. If it's not, you got Falls Church versus Falls Church City.
Okay.
I love that. I think that's a good test for both teams. I really do. I'm going to keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I'm a fan of Coach Coogan. I think what he's doing over there.
You love what Coach Coogan's doing.
Yeah, I like what I hear, what I see them doing over there. It should be a good one. And also interesting because Meridian runs that double wing offense.
Yeah.
So it should be interesting, kind of taking on that heavy run scheme and seeing if your kids can be physical enough against it.
Yeah, I can't. Again, you being our native Southern Californian, I think it's important to point these things out to you, my friend, and pointing out that Falls Church City, and it kind of reminds me of what the Raiders and Niners were scrimmage every year when the Raiders were in Oakland. Yeah, the Oakland and Sanford Battle of the Bay.
Yeah.
This is kind of the Battle of Falls Church. I like that.
And Meridian, not an FCPS, right? They're in Falls Church City Schools.
It's their own school, unlike Fairfax High School, which is Fairfax City, but it's not. Fairfax County runs them. They kind of have their own very small. It's like 3 schools.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Colonial Forge at West Springfield. Colonial Forge, tough team. We know they'll bring the heat. And then you got West Springfield with weapons galore.
Colonial Forge, Stafford? Colonial Forge.
Yeah. So not knowing that area that well, I call it Stafford. Now, is it Spotsylvania? Is it Stafford? Is it there's another little area there that greater general area? Right. Yes, I would call it Stafford, and I could be wrong saying it.
Well, and West Springfield seems to be spending their time down. It's another interesting coach who is spending his time somewhere else. It seems they have vacation homes other places. Madison has a vacation home in Prince William. Looks like West Springfield has a vacation home down there.
They got a lake in the lake house by Lake Anna. They hang out on their boat, and then they do some football scrimmages. Yeah,
and unfortunately, we're unable to see West Springfield because actually, maybe they might be home. If they're at home, we might be able.
Yeah, I have it listed at home.
Okay, so I mean, we'll get a chance to see them. It'd be exciting to see our lay eyes in the West Springfield for the first time.
I'm wrong a lot, but I have it listed at home.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, McLean at Justice. And I like this one because, again, we talked about W.N.L earlier. McLean out to prove something. McLean out to prove, hey, this is not a fluke. We could be a tough team going forward. Yeah. And yes, Justice, struggled a little bit. But they're trying to rebuild and trying to do things the right way over there. So it is a test in a way for McLean. I mean, if you're McLean, you got to be able to handle teams like that.
Right. Oh, and also the coach, the new coach at Justice, it gives him a second chance, right? Chance to kind of figure out exactly. Now he finally got to see what his team is made of. Yes. Now, perhaps they can try. I'm sure he tweaked some things he likes, some things he didn't like. I think it's a good chance against a quality opponent in McLean.
A quality opponent. I mean, like Justice is the beginning of a rebuild.
Yeah.
And I think Coach is going to do a fine job over there. It's going to take time.
Right.
But I think he can do a fine job over there. Right. McLean has kind of already gone through the rebuild, right?
Yeah.
Now they're trying to sustain it.
Right.
And this is where you got to separate yourself if you're McLean.
Right.
We're no longer the rebuilding team, right? We've rebuilt. Right. Now we're going to sustain that. So that's it's a fun one for that reason, in my opinion.
Right.
All right. Tough one here. I like this one. I like this one a lot, actually. And you and I saw this scrimmage last year, actually. Stonebridge at Yorktown.
Yeah, I mean, another not an easy task, right? Stonebridge could compete in 6A.
Oh yeah,
easy
for sure.
But with Yorktown, you have the return with all the returners coming back, and I think the expectations for Yorktown are a lot higher, higher coming into this year as opposed to last year. With their quarterback coming back, Drew Morgan, second year around, right? You have those two slot guys coming back.
How about the big tight end?
Oh, the tight end that we got, Max Toriano, I believe that's how you pronounce his name.
He's a big kid, isn't he?
Yeah. But also it's curious. So last year, they were still in their wing tee. Are they still going to be in the wing tee? We didn't get a chance to see them. I don't know. We might be able to, perhaps. I think it's at Yorktown, so maybe we might be able to catch it. But what kind of offense are they going to get running against one of the top programs in the state, right? Stonebridge, right. One of the top programs in the state.
Yeah, no, it'll be a fun one. Yeah. And really for, it's two teams that want to, ground and pound, slugfest. Right. All right. Coming up, South Lakes at West Potomac. South Lakes at West Potomac. Again, it's a theme when we talk about some of these, some of the Liberty teams, and then we're talking about South Lakes. We're talking about these teams that had incredible seasons a year ago.
Right.
And again, them trying to sustain it. So South Lakes, obviously Concord, but they had a great season in the Concord last year. And can they sustain that? And they're playing against Westbo, who's an up-and-comer. Right. All right. And when I say up-and-comer, I mean, they've had some good ball clubs recently. I'm talking about up-and-comers. I mean, they might be competing for a region this year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, South Lakes has Alex Saunders, who, looks like he's getting ready to be the real deal for them. But similar to W.N.L, they're replacing a very senior heavy team. So I think that's going to be a pretty interesting. Where West Potomac, they have some kids coming back who look like they are prepared to kind of take that next step, right?
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see West Potomac's explosiveness in that passing game. Going against the young, fast defense of South Lakes.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we got Lewis versus what is that? I can't read my own handwriting, man. The older I get, my handwriting's bad. I don't believe in typing. I'm a handwritten kind of guy.
It's Wakefield. It's Lewis and Wakefield.
Oh, thank you. I wrote Wakefield. I can't read anything. All right, so Lewis Wakefield. I like that scrimmage. That's a nice balanced scrimmage.
Yeah, right. Two teams who are trying to build something, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it gives you an idea of where you stand against another team that's rebuilding. And if you are able to have a really good outing, you think yourself, okay, maybe we pick that and taking that next step, right? How we moved ahead of that of this team, and I think that's a really good measuring stick for them.
Yeah, for sure. And it's at Wakefield. Clarence, Coach Clarence Martin's got something brewing over there. Let's see what you can kind of get that rebuild going here in season 2.
Yeah.
All right, and the last one we got on our list is Murray, and I believe I'm pronouncing that right. That sounds French to me, but I think you don't pronounce the T. That means it's French. So Murray at SoCo. That's South County. Now there's the Merritt School. There's Murray. There's a couple of schools that have similar names. I don't know which. I know it's a private school. I don't know much about it aside from that. But I know South County, darn it. I know that's a freaking solid squad.
Well, they've gotten 2 private schools back to back, correct? Now, was it against St. John's? Was that their first scrimmage? Paul the Great.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So yeah, they scrimmaged a private school, correct, the first time?
Yeah, John Paul the Great. I believe they scrimmaged John Paul
the Great out of Prince William.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah. So it should be pretty interesting, right? I mean, Hunter. Well, they have Hunter Milacki, right? I mean, they've got that, stud on the defense.
Yeah.
Against my guess is probably a pretty good program. And Coach Pannoni is gearing up, trying to get himself back into a regional title game, right? I mean, that's what he's trying to do right now.
Yep. And they got the young quarterback. They're trying to kind of season him up a little bit.
Right.
So yeah, I think they're probably pressing all the right buttons over there to get prepared for week 1.
And we do have one more to talk about. Mount Vernon against Rio Comico.
That's a Maryland school, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Maryland school.
I wanted to say Gesundheit when you were saying trying to pronounce the name there, but
let's see. I mean, I don't know if we'll be able to see it, but let's see. If Hudson Grimsley and Matthew Moret are able to have. I mean, they had huge games against.
Yes, they did. I watched that game. I told you I saw part of that game, and I was very impressed by the combination between Grimsley and his receiver. That was outstanding.
Yeah.
So Grimsley could throw. He could throw on the run.
Yeah.
He could throw from the pocket. That kid looks like the real deal.
Yeah, absolutely. So another chance to see those guys. I mean, it looks like in the national, there's gonna be some explosive offenses down there. There's gonna be some people who can live scoreboard.
Oh, one more we forgot, and I don't know how we forgot it. Oakton at Rock Ridge.
So I don't know anything about Rock Ridge.
Rock Ridge is way out there by rocks and the ridges. It's just far away, buddy. I don't know anything about it. I'm lying, and I don't know anything about Rock Ridge. I did actually. I want to say it's like Dumfries area, and I could be wrong. I could be making that up completely. But either way, it doesn't fall in our jurisdiction, my friend. But Oakton does, and I'll tell you what, I was very excited with what I saw at Oakton last week.
You were buying Oakton stock, right? You were.
I'm buying Oakton stock. Now here's the thing, and I think that's at Rock Ridge, so I don't think we're going to get any FHS out there. No, well, the one thing about Oakton that I was high on them, and here's the thing. Here's why I was high on Oakton. Grimsley came down, looked great early on. That's a great combination, and on that first drive, and they kind of stopped it after that first drive. They did allow another a big play later in the game, but their defense kind of made some adjustments, and it was starters. I was watching. It wasn't backups. I know they were alternating, but the second thing was, like I told you last week, was the running game of Oakton. They stuck to it. It wasn't like they ran for 500 yards. But they stuck to it. They were committed to it. And you could see that's a difference, right, in philosophy from the last few years. They're trying to establish an identity and a tough one at that.
Yeah. I mean, that's when you want to do it right. You're trying to change a culture. So you bring it, I mean, and that is a 180 culture change, right? We're no longer going to be high flying, trying to score, break the scoreboard. We're going to be tough, hard-nosed team. And so, credit Coach Slay, right? Coach Slay is building something over there. So awesome.
Now, the one thing I will say about Oakton, and again, this is what this is for. I am curious to say, I know they'll run the ball. I know they'll play solid defense. Will they open it up a little bit?
Yeah.
They got the young quarterback who's talented. They got the young receiver.
Yeah.
What's the young receiver's name?
Dalen Jones. Okay.
So, they have Jones at receiver, and they love that combination there in practice. So can they start taking what they're seeing in practice, to the games? Right.
Yeah, Jones looked like the real deal. And so, at least last year, that receiver. So I think they have something with him, right? And if you develop that run game, he is going to be lethal because you got to play the run. And your kid is just going to go right by you.
Yeah, now that's at Rock Ridge. So I don't know if it'll be on the NFHS. I'm hoping it is. I'm going to go ahead and assume that it's not. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Like a young Forrest Gump said, that's all I'll say about that.
There you go. All
right. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this slate of games. This is the final dress rehearsal, kind of getting things buttoned up.
Yeah. No,
looking good.
A week from tonight, we will be making a regular season talk.
Man, already here, my friend. It's already here.
Excited.
Yeah, buddy. Well, let's go, man. Let's freaking go. I might be going out to the Hilton Woodson game, and if I'm there, I told you I'm going to find. I know you recommended Smoky Bones. Next time I'm out there in Woodbridge, if anyone listen, you can make a recommendation for some key eats. All right, I'm always listening. I'm a Roy Rogers guy. I'm a Fuddruckers guy. So whatever you got out there, let me know.
Sounds good. Yeah. We know at least one person, our man Brian McClure, who will be at Garfield. I'll be there too. I wonder if we just take a picture together. Take a picture.
You actually should put it on the pod.
the only guy who has taken us up on our fantasy football
3-man league. We're gonna have stacked teams in that league, buddy. Stacked teams. I bet you
dual quarterbacks, double quarterbacks in that league. It'll be the 2-quarterback league.
You go 5 quarterbacks in that league. Trendsetters.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, we appreciate you guys.
One more thing.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Highlights of the week.
Yeah, baby.
We need more. I'm sure we're gonna get quite a few. Get to us by Saturday at 4 p.m.
4 p.m. You heard the deadline. Deadline is in. Get those in.
Yeah.
Get those in. Outstanding. I can't wait. Folks, it's been fun. Subscribe, follow, tell your friends, all that stuff. Get your highlights in, all that stuff. We look forward to breaking these games down with you on Sunday. On all Hitches, your favorite play, right? Your favorite play. All Hitches.
Someone needs to send us a highlight of them running all Hitches.
That's right.
Someone needs to send us a highlight of your team.
Yes.
How about this? The first team to send us a highlight of them running all Hitches will go up on our website and on our Twitter.
We're putting it on there. You heard it first from the webmaster, Coach Mesa. We are putting it on. Send us your all Hitches highlights. We love a good, 5-yard gain. All right.
Gain of 5.
We love a good 5-yard gain. All Hitches, baby. Thanks for joining us today, folks. We'll see you next time.
See ya.